So welcome back, everybody. This is John with SwingFit. Are you still struggling with making that decision to go through the fitting process? Maybe you're still from the mindset that you believe that club fitting is only geared towards better players, maybe faster swing speeds. If so, today is a great video because we're going to show you an example of how we helped one of our senior golfers who's just 67 years young actually pick up an extra 51 yards of total distance, and we just had to make him a couple changes in order to do so. So if you're curious and really want to know how we actually was able to do it, then let's jump in and find out. So before we dive into today's topic, I first off want to welcome you to our channel. Consider hitting that subscribe button because I surely hate for you to miss out on any of the content that we are creating, just like today's video, where we helped a customer pick up an extra 51 yards with his driver. I mean, the customer was ecstatic, never thought he would ever see past 200 ever again, but today was the day we actually helped him do so. And we're not only going to help you understand what we did in order to help him get there, we're also going to help you understand why and how we did it. This is the piece of the puzzle that we often feel is overlooked. And we believe that if we can show you both sides, you're really going to be able to connect the dots to understand once and for all that this club fitting crap really does work. And it doesn't matter how good of a golfer you are or how fast you actually swing the golf club, because really the only thing that's different between somebody that's swinging 82 miles an hour versus 115 is the shafts I pull off the wall and the heads I pull out of the cabinet. Everything else stays the same. It transcends across all skill levels, all speeds. So enough chit chat. Let's jump in and actually take a look at the customer's baseline shots. Now, as you start to see these shots unfold, you might be questioning yourself, is this really the customer's driver results? And it actually was. This has been the customer's sore spot for the last several years, and he hasn't seen 200 in quite some time. And one last ditch effort, he wanted to see if there's anything we can do to help him out. Now, truth be told, there was nothing about these results that we liked. We had him hit 10 shots, and these were the best of the 10 shots, that he actually hit. So we just knew we had to jump in and actually swap out some stuff because the driver he's currently using is this bad boy right here. The Cobra King F7 limited edition driver from a couple years ago. Really good driver back in its heyday, just not a good fit for the customer. And we tried a couple different changes in those 10 shots. We moved the weight all the way in the back, tried to get the launch up. We even actually took the loft sleeve up to 12, and no matter what we did, it just wasn't a good fit. And the only reason the customer played it was because this is something that his son gave him a couple years ago. He loved the way it looks, just never liked the results. So let's take a look at the data to see exactly what we saw. Now, one of the first things I like to do when I'm actually looking at the baseline numbers is I want to look at what the customer's input is versus output. I just want to see how efficient that head is. So let's take a look. So when I look at his input, right around 78, 79 mile an hour, topped out at about 80. Output, 115. Actually, not bad separation at all. Heck, even when you look at the efficiency rating here on the quad, 148, 149, 49, 48 again, that's actually really dang on good. We know if we can get 145, 146 on a quad, you're really cooking with gas. So efficiency was good, but it's got to be something else going on of why we wasn't getting the output that we was. Delivery numbers, not hateful. If anything, maybe face the path. We got to make sure we protect. He was snap hooking them left a little bit, so got to protect a little bit of that left side. Let's take a look at delivery numbers here. Look at backspin. Everything almost under 1,000. His best was 1418. So guys, that's just a testament. You need backspin in order to create lift, and you need it at no matter what speed, right? So you need a little bit more spin. Heck, even with slower swing speeds, I can even settle for spin in the like 3,000s. Okay, it's just going to help keep the ball up in the air. And then look at that apex. We got to fix this. If I'm standing 15 yards in front of him, I'm getting a haircut all day long. I could probably use one, but not by a golf ball, okay? And look at his carry in total, 104, 159. There's nothing good about these results. And if we're going to actually help the customer get anywhere close to 200, we got to get him out of this club, and then we got to get him out of it quick. And the driver I'm really thinking about is, if in order to get spin up, I need static loft. So I got to go a 12-degree head. And I'm actually thinking the brand new Cobra Speedzone Extreme Driver, right? Why? Because I love that weight all the way in the back. And even though the F7 had a weight option in the back, it just wasn't enough to affect CG to get the launch up. The Speedzone Extreme definitely is a rocket launcher for slower swing speeds. And when you pair it with 12 degrees of loft, really, really good fit. Now, I'm probably not going to use the adjustable loft sleeve to help, because once again, I want to protect against that left side because customers rotating the face. So let's go Cobra Speedzone Extreme 12 degrees with a lighter senior weight shaft. I'm talking the UST shaft here, 40 grams. I mean, and this is a senior flex. So let's pop this bad boy in to see what these results look like. Now, when you take a look at those results, I mean, you might swear that we actually substituted the golfer to get a different result, but literally it was night and day difference. And when we take a look at the numbers, you'll see that it was the exact same golfer. So let's dive into the data to see exactly what we was actually looking at. So I suspected right away we was able to get spin up by going into a 12-degree lofted driver. So let's take a look. Was we able to do that? So 1,800, 1,600. I mean, if you remember before, let's look. I mean, his best was 1418, and most of them was under 1,000. So, but look now, 1,800, 1,700, 19. We had a couple in the 2. So really, I knew going to 12 degree was the best way to do it. And having that new Speedzone Extreme weight back, CG characteristics, literally, it's just night and day difference, okay? Output, right? Look at output. I mean, did pick up a little bit. His best was 119, all right? And we could chalk that up to just, you know, a little hotter face than that of a driver that's maybe 4 or 5 years old, right? So not crazy bad there. But this is what I like, okay? We knew we had to get the ball up in the air. His worst apex was 39 feet. I mean, when you're talking about 17 feet versus 39, that's like double-digit growth. I mean, literally, I don't have to worry about getting a haircut now, but this is the eye-opener here, okay? Average carry, 176. His best was 188, all right? Now, here's where you might think, all right, 188, he has to be swinging it faster than what he was. I mean, we did change out the shaft, his timing, but let's take a look. So when we look, 81, 81, 83, 80, 81, 82. He is swinging it just a touch faster. So literally, he's getting a little extra speed from the kick and stuff. But let's look at efficiency. You know, similar efficiency, you know, that we were seeing previous. I mean, 146, 45, 44. Literally, it's the same. I mean, look at his angle of attack, 4.8 versus 4.8. Look at his in-to-out path, right? 4.6 versus 2.4. Biggest explanation is shaft. Right, definitely the shaft itself is going to actually change his feel, and his path actually, you know, changed a little bit there, but, you know, all good. Toe up, still 6.1, 5.8. So all in all, just kind of like what I expected. I mean, I knew we was going to help the customer actually get a little bit further. I just didn't expect to get this much right out the gate. But I still like to get spin up, all right? But here's the thing. Remember how I told you I don't want to add loft to the driver, because all it's going to do is close his face and really bring in the left side. And we've seen those results, you know, really, I mean, it was really, really good draws. So here's my little golden nugget here. One of the ways we can actually help the customer hit it up is shorten the driver shaft. Why? Because the shaft's going to get a little bit more vertical opposed to being a little bit flatter. So we're going to shorten it up a little bit. So we pop the grip off, we cut it down an inch, and let's take a look at this third series of shots to see if we was actually able to help the customer actually increase spin. Now, it's when I see results like this that really it validates what we do day in and day out. Like, we had a theory. We knew that if we was going to get spin up, I mean, we couldn't just take loft up because that's going to bring the left side. So by cutting the shaft down, that's going to get the driver swinging more on a vertical plane, more upright. No different than that of a shorter iron or a wedge, and just how easier it is to kind of get those balls up in the air, right? You know, loft does play a factor, but you know, you never lose sight of the vertical plane that club is being delivered on. If you can make it a little bit more vertical, you can actually help get the ball up in the air, and that's exactly what we've seen. So let's look at the results here, okay? So we cut it down an inch, put a grip back on, and really night and day once again. I mean, I love the results. So let's see. Average ball speed, 115. He had a couple there at the tail end of the session, or that grouping that just kind of dropped off a little bit, but still keeping ball speed up, 118, almost 119. So really, really good. But take a look at backspin, right? 2486, right? Let's just go to the compare tab real quick, okay? So let's go to the compare tab and let's look, all right? So 115, 117, 114, all right? I mean, it's the same golfer, okay? So that's, you know, same input versus same output. Launch, you know, this is what we had to help the customer, you know, really overcome. Poor launch, poor apex, poor spin. Both of these, look, every single time we made a change, we moved the customer closer to where we wanted to be. 14.7 versus 2,500 spin. That is exactly what we need. We need to check the box across the board so that way we can help the customer optimize his launch characteristics, just give him a better chance to be more consistent, okay? Averaging out 175 versus 198. He was a little better in the previous one at a little longer, but you know what? We actually tightened it up a little bit. So when you look at that dispersion, right, these are his 6 best shots versus the 6 previous best shots, tighter grouping, tighter dispersion, no disputing, this was a better option. Now guess what? I have a wild card up my sleeve yet, all right, because we're not done yet, okay? I think we can actually help the customer get a little more, right? We're not going to make any more club changes, but we are going to make a golf ball change. So I'm going to actually have him hit another series of shots, same driver, same build, same everything. I'm going to just swap out for a Strixon Q-Star. Something that kind of really matches up with his swing speed. And let's take a look at those results and see his shots and just see if it helps. So did the golf ball matter? Absolutely. I mean, for the first time all evening, the customer is hitting everything north of 200. He hasn't seen 200 in quite a long time, and he was really smiling ear to ear when he started to see these results happening just shot after shot. So let's take a look at the results just to see how we got to where we ended up. So ending club head speed, 119 versus 115. Launch did come down, so there's no question. You know, the Q-Star is launching a little bit lower, backspin is a little bit lower, and speed is going just a little higher. So, you know, this is, you know, at the part of the fit where we just have to arm the customer with the right information so that way they can make a decision. You know, do they want tighter accuracy and dispersion, or do they want to just keep the ball in play and actually sacrifice a little bit of accuracy, you know, if we get a little lower spin because of poor strike, but if it's still going to yield a better result, then, you know, is that the way we go? And here the customer was absolutely ecstatic and wasn't going to lose a lot of sleep over 8 feet. I mean, 60 feet versus 52, I mean, literally, I mean, to yield 198 versus 207 with 214 happening twice in that series, I mean, customer was happy. I mean, he's like, John, he's like, I mean, I never haven't been to 220, you know, in almost 5 years. So he was like, you know what, I'm really, really pleased with those results. So let's take a look at the before and after just to see how we ended up to be where we actually got. So let's take a look. So here we are. So let's unselect the speed zone and let's get that one in. So last one versus the first one. 115 versus 119. So 4 mile an hour ball speed spike. 8 versus 13, 5 more degrees of launch. Backspin, this is the big kicker here. We went from 909 to 2,000. Really, really good. And then take a look, guys. 103 versus 183. But that's not really the big story. The big story is this here, the total, okay? Is, you know, because he was getting decent total, 160, right? 157. You know, it's just bullets. You know, remember the haircuts? But now we're getting the ball in the air. It's going 183, and it's actually rolling out, totaling to 207. But that's the average, right? So literally his two best was 214, and the customer was just happy. So let's do a quick recap on how we was actually able to get the net result that we did. First things first, we had to get the customer out of that old head into a newer head with better CG characteristics and better static loft, right? Static loft is the #1 way to get spin and launch up. So definitely the new Speedzone Extreme is a very, very good option. There is a 12-degree option. Can't wait for the new rad drivers because they're supposed to be even better. So this one really, really worked well. Then we had to swap out the golf shaft. Shaft was just a little too stout for him as a regular flex and a little heavier weight. So we went lighter weight, the UST shaft. It's a stock Cobra shaft, and we put him in the senior flex. That actually just worked better for his swing speed of 82, 83. And as the fit progressed, he actually started swinging a little bit faster. So he got up to about 83, and he had a couple of about 84. But literally, customer just felt, he was like, it just feels more comfortable. And then the last piece that we did with the golf club was we cut it down an inch, right? We wanted to get that driver a little bit more vertical to help him get the launch and the ball up in the air. And it just really was just night and day. And then, of course, the wild card golden nugget at the very end was the golf ball. So guys, we truly hope you found value in this information we shared with you today. And once again, don't get wrapped around the axle just because the customer was only swinging 83 mile an hour, because once again, how we got to the end state will transcend across all skill levels and speeds. The only difference is just the shafts and the heads. So if you have any questions at all, do me a favor, leave them in the remarks and stay tuned for next week when we drop another video.